On the phone with me today is singer, songwriter, and I'm going to say it, like one of my mentors, one of my good friends, Mr. Rob Hill. Rob, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing okay, but I'm a little bit worried about you if you're counting me among your mentors.
I knew you were going to say that, but you know what? I have to tell the story. I think you're so funny. You are so important to me in my life, and I know it sounds weird, but when I was at the other radio station, you were the first person who literally called me and asked me like an important question, like, would you like to interview Nico Moon? And I said, interview? Like, I didn't even think that was a part of my job. I had been on the air for 2 years. No one had ever asked me to do an interview. And then I was like, well, yeah, I guess this is something I should do. And it's all because of you. I ended up interviewing Nico Moon, and then I went on to Brian Kelly and Michael Franti. And because of you, I am still in touch with all of those people. And thank goodness that you suggested it. Also, you said, hey, would you like to host Peace, Love, and Union? I went there with Christian Bush. I got to meet Aubrey Wallet. Like, you were the person that launched me out there like a rocket. So, yes, one of my mentors. And thank you so much. Thank you.
Wow. As I recall, Nico Moon was probably more excited than you about that interview.
No, come on. That was radio.
No, true story. Well, partly because it coincided with his getting onto Radio Margaritaville for the first time. So he was excited about that for sure.
Yeah, I wonder if he's still on. Who knows? Anyways. Who knows? Who knows? Okay, let's talk about you. This is not your first time being on my radio show. Do you remember your first time being on my show?
What were we talking about? Meeting the mic?
We weren't.
Or Peace, Love,
you
and
were
Union?
one of my couples for Valentine's Day.
Oh, right.
Yes, I had you and Michelle as one of my couples in love and how you met. And that was my first Valentine's show, and it was so sweet and so fun. I loved it. It was one of my favorite stories. I mean, that's my favorite show anyway. So this is your second time being on my show, whether you know it or not.
All right.
Okay, so let's talk about what you've been up to. I'm excited to hear that you are back in the studio recording. You had a new song just last Friday release called High Side of Low Tide. Let me get that right. And
right.
Tell me how that all came about.
Well, of course, I've been wanting to put out some new music for a while. This is a long time coming, and so unlike some of my esteemed songwriting colleagues who write 2 or 3 songs a day, I write 2 or 3 songs in a good year. So it took a while to put together material for another album, which is coming out later this summer, an album called Love and Salt Water. And so the story behind High Side of Low Tide is that I had this note in my iPhone for the longest time that said High Side of Low Tide, and another one that said low tide is the time that you can write your name in the sand. And so these are 2 ideas that were floating around on my iPhone for a couple of years. And then I had this at the Peace, Love, and Union Festival last year in Union, Washington. I had some downtime with Eric Erdman and Caitlin Cannon, who are both friends and brilliant songwriters. And that we started talking about those notes, and some things started bubbling up, and some lyrics and melodies started coming together, and we wrote some of the song that week, and then over the next couple of months, it became a song. And that was well into the recording process for the Love and Salt Water album. And so obviously the song not having been written, it was not on the list of tracks to be on the album. But then it kind of displaced one and eventually just moved up the ranks to where we decided it was going to be the first single from the album, just based on how we were feeling about the song and how people were reacting to it when we played it. So yeah, I'm really pleased with the way it turned out, and I love what it stands for, which is that it's partly literal in the sense that I really like, as it turns out, here I am in my early 60s now, and all this time I thought I was a high tide guy, and low tide just smells bad and is something to avoid. But since moving into this house in Union, which is right on this sandbar in an estuary, and when the tide goes out there, it goes out a long, long way, and because of where it's at near the national forest and the mountains, there's just all kinds of wildlife and interesting sounds and things happening in the water and in the air and the trees. And sometimes you can be looking out at the water and see in your one single field of vision 10, 15, even 20 bald eagles. And
wow.
that doesn't happen at high tide. And so there really is some magic to low tide. And I think that applies to life as well. Just when you think things can't get any lower, and you're feeling sorry for yourself, when you think back on those times, you realize that was the time when I found out what I was made of. That was the time when I found out who I am, what my faith means to me, what my character is, where my strength is. And so if I can relate that to a story that a friend of mine who's a pastor told me, he says, if you start with the sentence, "It took courage for me to blank," and you fill in that blank, and that will be the story of your life. Not the good times, not the successes, not the the riches, but the challenges that you overcame, the obstacles that you overcame, and the ways that you made it through the tough times. That's your story. And so
that is true. That is 100% true. Oh my gosh.
And that's the line in the song that says, when the tide is down and when the tide is rolling out, that's the time that I can proudly write my name down in the sand. And so that's the metaphor of the song, really.
Well, I mean, as you're sitting there talking, and you're talking about, if nobody's ever been up where you live and been to I'm not meaning to throw this in right now, but Peace, Love, and Union, that music festival is just amazing. That whole area is amazing. And literally, when you had asked me to host a couple of years ago, you're right. I was in a really crappy place, but that when I look back, I am so great now, and everything is amazing now, and yeah, that was part of my story, and I'll always remember that. Like, wow, and there you are writing about it right now in a song.
So you're saying that the Peace, Love, and Union Saltwater Songwriter Festival is a healing event?
Yes, I swear.
Yeah, I believe it is.
Yes. That's a weird thing to say. But I mean, I wasn't so broken, but I was kind of broken, and I really look back at my life, and I speak so highly of that event always. And I'm constantly saying, if you get a chance to go, put it on your bucket list. This is amazing. And I even said to my kids, I'm like, I think, but on my another bucket list, I always think of places I'd like them to see, and that's on there as well. Isn't that crazy? Wow. You're bringing it all.
Well, you've been here, so it's not crazy.
No, it's amazing. So, real quick, tie-in. If you are thinking about going to Peace, Love, and Union and going up to Rob's event there, don't think, do it. Do it. So, okay, so tell me one more thing. So you have this song written and co-written by Eric Erdman, and you said Caitlin Cannon, is that right?
Caitlin Cannon, yeah.
Right, okay. And you co-produced with somebody as well that I think we all know.
Yes, Brandon Bush is my producer. I don't know if we're co-producer. He does most of that stuff on the dials and the knobs, so he's probably the producer. But so it's really kind of cool that I'm being produced by somebody that's worked with John Mayer and Train and Sugarland.
Well, does everybody know that
Maroney.
Brandon Bush is, Christian Bush's brother? One half of Sugarland, yes. It is his brother, for those of you who just haven't connected the dots yet. And Brandon is so amazingly talented. They were there, of course, when I was at Peace, Love, and Union as well. And just incredible. Both of them. Raised right, I should say. They were raised right.
Yes.
You made a good job of getting Brandon on board, too. You have a video coming out, it says? You have a video?
I just, literally half an hour ago looked at the final approved, ready to be uploaded video for High Side of Low Tide. So, just within the hour, by the time you air here, it'll be live on YouTube and wherever else
so we
videos
can all
go
not
live.
only hear it, but watch the video as well. I'm super excited about that. All right, so real quick, since we were talking, this is the first time you brought an album out or have music come out in how many years now?
It's been almost 8 years since the Beach Town album came out. 2017. So actually, by the time the full album comes out, it probably will be right around 8 years since Beach Town came out in July of 17.
And and I'm not going to lie to you, when I first met you and you called me and I was like, and you were working with Meeting of the Minds, like putting the entertainment in over there, and I was like, oh, I had no idea that you had like a real job. I just thought you were like, I didn't even know you were a songwriter. I didn't know you were a singer. I didn't know anything until I got to Union, Washington, and watched you sing and play, and I'm like, you're a musician, and you're looking at me like, yeah. I thought you were just a lawyer. I thought you were just, oh my gosh. And it all came together. Then I started looking up your music. So for anybody that doesn't know that Rob Hill actually is an amazing musician, go look him up and look at his old stuff as well as his new stuff. So there's that. Now, I want you to give one plug here about Peace, Love, and Union so that we can do one more big one.
One more big one. Well, the roster this year is off the hook. We have headlining 6 people really that I consider to be sharing the headlining duties. One is John McLaughlin, who I just regard as one of the almost kind of the guy's had 5 albums hit the top 100, but somehow I feel like he's still underrated and underappreciated because he's just a phenomenal generational talent. He's one of our headliners. Bess Nielsen Chapman, who is not necessarily a name that people know, but she's a inductee to the Songwriters Hall of Fame. She wrote the country classic "This Kiss" that was recorded by Faith Hill, and also 6 other number ones, including "Strong Enough to Bend" for Tanya Tucker, and she has recorded some beautiful music of her own. Most notably, the saddest Trop Rock song of all time called "Sand and Water." Then we have Tia Sillers, who rarely performs, but she has written 2 Grammy-winning songs, one for the then Dixie Chicks called "There's Your Trouble," and another that you may have heard of called "I Hope You Dance," which is as much of a classic as any country song ever written.
Oh my gosh, I could sing that for you right now. I won't, but I could.
Yeah, I bet.
That's great.
Yeah. Then we have Will Kimbrough is playing, of course, great fame, recent Grammy nominee and Jimmy Buffett co-writer. And Jesse Rice is headlining, and Kristen Bush is coming back, and I think I've left out one.
Eric Erdman, maybe? I don't know. I'm just guessing.
Jesse Rice, Tia Sillers. I think I said 6. So
okay,
so that's and then Eric Erdman is there as well. I said Jesse Rice, I think. Jesse Rice. Oh, maybe I forgot to say Jesse Rice is one of the headliners as well.
Yeah, he's in there. I just saw Jesse 2 weeks ago in Palm Coast. I got to stand there and say his name. It's the most important job of the year to stand there and say, "Ladies and gentlemen, Jesse Rice."
Yeah, and then we have some other great songwriters too, including some locals, and some Donnie Brewer will be there, Aubrey Wallet will be there, Kelly McGuire will be there, Ethan Tucker, who's a local but also a voice finalist, and a Michael Franti co-writer and protege.
Wow.
And so there's just a ton of talent. Plus, Brittany Kingery, before the festival even starts, is going to be doing her Linda Ronstadt tribute or retrospective. And then on Sunday, after the event is, quote, over, one of the best parts of it, I think, is our Sunday brunch with Operation Song, where we have 5 local veterans paired with some of our festival songwriters who will be that week co-writing songs about the experiences of the veterans and debuting them there on Sunday morning. And it's just hypnotizing, really. It's a very powerful demonstration of the healing power of music.
Is so unlike any of the other ones. Yeah, it's off the hook. It really is. It's not. It's A, the location, B, the people that you bring in, the professionalism. Like, it's just all so good. And I literally, if you're thinking about it, don't think. Get on there. Where can we find tickets for this, or where can we find information? How's that?
You can find them both at the same place at peaceloveunion.net or peaceloveandunion.net, and both of those work. And then you can get the full lineup. The schedule isn't there yet, but the roster is there. And you can also buy your tickets and link up to some lodging, which is dwindling There's
Yeah.
a couple of our lodging partners that still have rooms left, so but you should hurry and do that soon.
Yeah, you should. Not, no kidding. He's not even kidding. So, and what about you and your music? Where can we find more information about you?
You can find me in all the normal listening platforms: Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, YouTube, on my Exit 104 Media channel, where you can also see the music video for High Side of Low Tide, as well as all the historical videos, including Brittany Henry videos. Facebook at Rob Hill Music, and then there's some other things too that I couldn't tell you. Instagram and some other things.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how they work.
Isn't that funny? We're also good at Facebook, and we're like, Instagram. It just depends. I literally am just getting better at Instagram. I'm, trying to broaden my horizons in 2025. Well, before I let you go, and before we play your song, I want to know if you'll play my Big Three show. What do you say? It's just 3 questions.
The Big Three.
It's easy. Yeah, the Big Three. Can you play it with me?
Okay, I can play it.
Okay. Good. I have your permission. All right, good. All right, so it's super easy. You answer any way you want. It's 3 questions. Question number 1, tell us something we don't know about you, something different that we just don't know about you.
Okay, well, there's probably a few things that few people know and other people don't. There's probably a number of people who listen to my music who don't know that I did stand-up comedy for 10 years, for example. There's probably a lot of people, some people would know, and some others would not know that I have some really freaky, other people think they're freaky. I think they're perfectly normal food peeves.
I'm waiting for you to say freaky what? You said food.
Food peeves.
Oh, okay.
Food
peeves.
Like ketchup doesn't belong on a hot dog, pineapples don't belong on pizza. Those are pretty common things.
I remember you saying that. Yeah.
I'm kind of tolerant about some of it. I mean, these are things that I will allow other people to do, as offensive as they are. Except that you can't put ketchup on a hot dog at a baseball game. That's sacrilege.
I'll have to tell my son that. He's like that guy who puts ketchup on everything.
You can't ask me to put ketchup on your hot dog. That's out of the question. I love olive oil but hate olives. So if I order a Bloody Mary, I tell them not only don't put any olives on it, but if you're making anybody else's Bloody Mary with olives in it, do it at least 6 to 10 feet apart from where you're making my Bloody Mary. Because if any olive air gets into my Bloody Mary, I won't be able to drink it.
Oh my God.
I'm also very superstitious, especially when it comes to sports and music, and just like I have these things like I'm having a party for the release of The High Side of Low Tide. It starts at 2:07 p.m., which is low tide in Union, Washington, and then it ends at 9:48 p.m. because that's high tide in Union, Washington. So
wow.
I figure if I'm going to release this song, yeah, that's weird stuff.
Yeah, you get weird stuff, but you know what? But you're right. I didn't know any of those things about you except the pineapple with the pizza situation. I think I heard that somewhere along the line. But all right, let me get to question number 2. Question number 2, not as exciting, I don't think. But what's the most used app on your phone?
Oh, that probably changes from time to time. I'm superstitious about every single day I have to win a solitaire game at least one time. I'm right now at 155 days in a row. I feel like if I miss a day, all hell is going to break loose, and all the good things in my life will fade. So that's probably the most used. If I'm not counting text messaging and email as an app, that's probably the most used these days.
Well, yeah, with all that game playing going on, yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And my favorite question of all time is, in your opinion, who is the most famous person's phone number you have in your phone?
Oh, I think it's probably Christian Bush. I've certainly dealt with I've dealt with lots of famous people through their agents and their managers and occasionally in person, but I think Christian might be the most famous person who said, "Here's my phone number," and plugged it into my phone. And ironically, I very rarely use it because I was like, I don't want to be like a fanboy or anything, because I think Christian Bush is one of the great songwriters. Yeah.
Yeah,
and
you have like a Nico. I have Nico Moon's number, and I'm real careful on if I'm going to shoot a text. And one day one day he called me. And the first thing I said when
Oh.
I answered, I go, "Did you butt dial me?" I mean, I literally thought he butt dialed me. He goes, "No." I'm like, "What?" And then I have him on speaker, and I'm walking around my neighborhood just keeping him on the phone talking so that so I can show somebody, "Look, Nico Moon called me." And there was nobody around, Rob, not one person. I was just like, "This is crazy." So my daughter's like, "Sure he did." I'm like, "No, look, he did." Anyways, it was funny. It was again, he was something about getting in touch with Jimmy or something like that, or something like, maybe Renee will know is where I think it came from. But it was interesting. Yeah, so Christian was, I don't have his number.
No. Well, okay. Well, I don't have Nico's number, so we're even. And you
okay,
think I'm so important in getting
Brandon's
you in touch
number.
with Nico.
Yes.
He never gave me his number.
Well, oh my gosh. Well, we'll switch it off. We'll tag each other. If you need to call Nico, you let me know. I'm your connection. Yeah. All right. Well, I want to play your new song. I know that we've already debuted it last week, but of course I want to hear it. And, maybe somebody else didn't hear it yet. And since this is Monday morning, right after it released on Friday, my chances are pretty good. So I want you to take a big swing at it and introduce the song.
I'm Rob Hill, and from the upcoming album, Love and Saltwater, here is our first single, High Side of Low Tide.
On Radio Trop Rock.